Feature Friday.
The freshest. What up, people? Welcome to Feature Friday Plus. Today, we have here SAB, all the way from the Philippines, to talk a little bit more about her story and a lot of music.
I got to tell you, SAB, by the way, SAB actually mentioned as well, if we're looking to the right, we are looking into SAB's eyes, we're not looking into the monitor. I am really intrigued in talking to you, actually, because I know like how involved you are with music in the Philippines and kind of Tasia, and you're a good guitarist. So we've been kind of like discussing that when it comes to practicing for events and the big shows, big crowds, and it's always intriguing to talk to musicians kind of at your level. So it's so good to have you in.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited. Low-key pressured, but I'm excited.
Why pressure?
No, it's good. It's a fun
pressure.
time.
Because your setup looks so professional. I'm like, ooh, you have two mics. One of them's got them fancy headphones. And I'm like, ooh, I'm wearing my earphones.
It's all right.
Be honest.
Actually, your room, it's a vibe. I'm not going to lie about that.
And plus, Sab, you look lovely. And it looks, I reckon if someone would look at the background, they'll be like, yeah, she's their music girl. You know what I mean? They kind of get the vibe of who you are.
Thank you.
Okay. One of the intriguing bits, and the reason why we wanted to sit down with you, sort of individually and stuff, was what's the beginning story? How did you begin with music, especially with the pedigree of music that you have and kind of how talented you are? I would presume you started quite young. I don't know your story, so it would be awesome to hear it from you.
Oh, thank you. So for me, I always loved music. So I think that's something all artists of us say. But for me, I always was just like randomly singing songs in the house. I would sing about a sock. I would sing about a plant. So whatever random song I could make, I was probably doing it. But then my parents also put me in like piano lessons at age of 7. Right. It was either piano or violin. And then I chose piano. It's a good choice.
Yeah, good choice. Good choice indeed.
Yeah. And then I ended up teaching myself ukulele at 15 and then guitar at 16. We love YouTube. YouTube is my teacher. Yes. And I started writing songs at age 14, 15. It started as an accident. The first song I wrote is She, which was like about self-love, self-acceptance type of thing. And then it started because my English teacher was like, okay, here's your assignment for this semester. It's a big portion of your grade. And I was like, okay, so I need to get honors at least this sem and make my Asian parents proud. So I worked really hard on the poem, and then it turns out that's how I got into slam poetry at first. And then at the same time, I was learning ukulele. So through the months, I combined the two, and then that's how I made my song She, which is my first official song. And then literally a month after finishing the song, that's when I ended up in Star Music auditions. And I performed that song I wrote in the audition. And then thankfully they liked me, because after that they had me record it, and then I released it like 2 years after, when I was 18.
Amazing. What a cool freaking progression. Think about it from like your little bubble in your home, in your own perfect world, and then suddenly it's like it's out there and it's all real, and you're actually quite young, and it happened very fast. How do you prepare for this type of like a big events and things that seem so unreal from such a quick progression of things?
For me personally, I think the way I grew up really helped, because I was always surrounded by music, and I was always like, for example, in piano class, my teacher always prepared me for recitals, like piano and also voice. Like when I was learning voice, it wasn't only pop. They made me learn like classical.
Oh, very good.
Italian, even though I butchered all the words. I'm so sorry to all the Italians out there.
It's not easy.
It's not. There are words that you are pronouncing differently from what I know. So I'm like, oh my God. Bless all your souls.
You know what's funny? Something that we always discuss on the podcast or when we review music, and it's sometimes there's so much value, and it makes sense that you're kind of like this. Then there's so much. It's such a hack, if you like, to have a classical background in music, because sometimes it really does open up so many more opportunities in terms of your ability to understand journeys of notes, musical pathways in songs, musical writing, that all of a sudden you have like, I don't know if it's like you have glasses on and you can see everything clearer.
I
And
agree.
sometimes classical music does do that. So it makes sense.
Tell me a little bit more about that journey between composing your own pieces coming from that a classical background.
Yeah, so like what I said earlier, I started probably writing songs 14, 15. And then when I got into my label, they were like, okay, just keep writing songs. For like a whole summer, I was like writing a song every single day. And
Nice.
it was, some songs were better than others, some were more questionable than others. But I think that's part of the journey, because I think it really prepared me for like when I became more active in the industry. Because maybe after my first year, my producer called me and he's like, hey, I want you to write for this artist. But the thing was, the genre they wanted me to write in was like dance pop. And which is like a complete 180 from what I write in, because I write like acoustic, indie pop, alternative pop. And they're like, hey, we need you to make like a commercial dance song.
track.
And I was like, And then, so that was wild. I listened to so many dance and like K-pop songs for inspiration. And then I was also very ambitious because I wanted the project badly. So when they asked for one song, I gave 3.
Oh,
very
nice.
Go SAB.
Do more, kids.
Yeah.
If you don't mind me asking, how old are you? Because you keep saying like you look so young. So, and I know you've been doing this since you were really young. But I actually don't know your age.
Would you like to guess first?
I thought I was 21.
Well, you're close.
Yeah, because you look around my age. So
I'm 20, but close enough.
20.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, it's always interesting. We were just speaking to Darren last week, and it's so intriguing when it comes to people who grew up making music and in the industry. It feels like they've reached a level of musical maturity so much faster than other artists, but it's because realistically, you've been doing this for like 10 years.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Because you started
maybe not 10 years.
No, but I mean like in making music, because you started since you were really young.
That's right.
Playing around, singing around the house, and then you start taking classes, and then
it all adds up.
Yeah, professionally, maybe it hasn't been 10 years yet, but I think the reason why the product sounds so good, it's because, I don't know, you seem to have a lot of miles that you did when you were younger, you know?
Oh, you're giving me an existential crisis. I'm like, no, yeah, that makes sense. Thank you. Oh my God. I'm going to thank my parents after this. I'm going to like and be like, thank you for putting me in lessons, mom and dad.
No, definitely. And I think a lot of that encapsulates a lot of what you can achieve later on. And obviously, like you said, we all go through that process where sometimes it's a little bit more questionable than others, and and how you feel uncomfortable in certain moments, and how you push yourself in moments of not being in your comfort zone is always part of an exciting musical journey. Is this your first time playing abroad, or have you done other gigs outside of the Philippines before?
I'd say this would be my second time performing abroad, because the first time I performed abroad was actually is today September. Yeah, sorry, I'm really bad with dates now. Last month was my first time performing abroad. I was part of the Star Magic US tour. So we performed in like we performed in like 3 cities, and then it was wild because I was trying to wrap around the fact that I was on tour, and then I was trying to wrap around the fact that I was on tour abroad in a whole other country. So now more excitement and also pressure, because for 1MX London, it's like I'm alone on stage, or at least from my set, as compared to tour where we had group numbers. Right. So I'm excited to at least see what happens. And I'm excited to hopefully meet you guys there.
Definitely. We'll definitely be there.
Okay.
Yes. Absolutely. It's actually quite cool. Tell me a little bit more about that whole experience in the US.
Yeah, true.
That's crazy.
How long was the tour?
The tour was about like 2 weeks actually, but I stayed an extra week along with some other artists because they had us do immersion. So basically we, in LA, we met with 2 producers, and they were like teaching us all sorts of stuff about music production, songwriting, dynamics.
That's amazing.
Nice.
How fun.
So
it was
2 weeks.
very fun.
2 weeks, fun, but I reckon intense. You know, it's quite like
Very. It was. I didn't expect tour to be so.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
rough,
yeah. It's so scheduled, right? Like touring and having to work abroad is so
at least
scheduled.
you did it with mates, yeah.
Yeah.
It was fun though.
Yeah, at least you did it with friends, and for a first touring experience, it creates so much memories. I would
Oh,
presume.
definitely.
I agree. I learned how to ride a bike there.
Oh, how
Okay.
cool. That's awesome.
I learned how to ride a bike in San Francisco in like a hotel parking lot, which is the most random experience ever. But it's like one of my favorites.
That is one of the coolest things. You could write a whole
Right?
song about that.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? It sounds fun.
No, but also
definitely.
like I mean, not to be too sort of like artsy or whatever, but
Oh yes.
that is one of the reasons why sometimes you do find that artists when they're touring, they really find those little moments, and then they spark that creativity and that kind of that songwriting and create those memories and then translate them into paper, you know. So
exactly, because it's a different experience than like your everyday routine. So it's like the moments that you least expect and like are newly introduced to, that you're like, oh, this could be good inspiration later.
Definitely.
I feel like you're more like a visual person. I feel like you look at something and then that's what might spark things into writing. What kind of inspires you? What's your songwriting process?
My songwriting process is very dependent on how I'm feeling, because I'm more of an emotion person.
Right.
So for example, if I'm suddenly like, oh, this is a nice moment, give me 5 minutes to isolate myself in the bathroom and record this random melody that came into my head.
Yeah.
But also if I like sit down and like grab whatever instrument I like, then I don't know how, but it's a weird outside the body experience where I'm like playing and then suddenly like melodies come out of me and I don't know where it's from. I'm just like, nice.
I totally agree. I think that those are moments like they're really magical, and I think they come once you're really aligned with the instruments and what you can provide, like how you can connect with that type of like the muse, you know, like that outer energy that kind of like translates through you. It's so freaking cool. What is one of your songs that you feel like has translated the best from the moment you decided to write it into like an actual song?
Oh, that's a good question.
Oh, thank you for the life crisis. I appreciate
it. Stop, Sab.
No. It's okay. I'm enjoying this a lot, actually. So
you're very lovely. Yeah, you have like a little sparkle in your eyes, and you're so nice.
Yeah, you're really nice. I like you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm bouncing off your energy. So, for me, the song that probably had the like best process and transition was my song called "I'd Like To." I released it this year, early March. I wrote that song about my crush in high school, who was my best friend. Great experience.
Still till now?
No. That cut.
Moved on.
I suppose.
That chapter.
It's gone. It's gone, my guy. But the way it happened was that I liked him in high school, and then he knew about it. I inform people actually when I like them. It just gets it out of the way. And then I wrote the song.
But that's a nice way of doing about it. Yeah, gosh.
I don't want to hide it
in secret. Yeah, my God, that's clever. People take notes. That's clever.
I don't know. I'm more on the side of courting when there's like an underlying, but you're not sure and you're unsure. I think that's fun.
The silent grueling, it's so unnecessary. I'm sad. Team SAB here.
Thank you. To each their own.
Yes.
But I guess from that experience of like liking them in high school, and then like, so it was a saga. I will tell you, it was a saga. And then I wrote the song about them like after we graduated, where it was like wanting to ask them out on a date, which I did not do. I wrote it, and then I had a very clear vision for how I wanted the song to sound. And then I had a wonderful year or two in like deciding what instruments with the producer and what I exactly wanted, and then like fixing the overall structure of the song. And then that's why it's one of my favorite songs now, because I invested so much like time and effort in it, and then it comes from a very true place It's very cutesy. It's one of my cutest songs. It's also my second song that's like fast.
Oh,
nice. Congrats.
But you
that
see,
sounds
it's
great.
Thank you.
it's those type of when the memory or when the inspiration is so grounded and it has such a strong foundation. Sometimes if kind of the stars align, because there's so much random shit that can happen in a studio or things don't sort of align the way they don't come out the way you thought they were going to come out.
Sometimes you don't even have the right people around you to kind of like aid you in the process of your vision. It's really cool. Who was your producer for that song?
My producer for that is Moves from
Moves.
Yeah,
We love Moves.
Yeah.
Big up Moves.
He probably has one of the most beautiful little daughters I've ever seen in my life.
She's adorable.
Yeah. He's been on the podcast. He's such a nice man.
Shout out.
Okay, so here's something as well that intrigues me a lot. Being surrounded yourself with so many great artists, especially when you're like in tour and now, in Star Music and Tarzia being around Moves, that like so many great artists go to that bloody studio.
Yeah.
What I kind of like, and maybe the question would be, since also you were growing up in the Philippines, there's so many pinnacle voices. Is there any voices that you kind of stuck with you and you maybe
took inspiration
from any songs that you kind of like that maybe if someone was to get to know you, it'd be like, oh, I bet she listens to this type of music or this type of artist. What would it be?
Well, growing up, because like my dad always brought me to school, it was always his playlist in the car, and it was like 90s alternative, which was
nice.
Like, the like, for example, Passenger Seat or All Be, or like Iris. Those are the songs I always was exposed to growing up. But then there's also like the other influence of like, can you tell I'm a Taylor Swift fan?
No, not at all. Actually.
Really? Also huge influences like Taylor Swift, but also like other local artists. Because there's something about, especially the way Tagalog songs are written, that are that tell a beautiful, beautiful story. It's always like giving your entire heart in the song. So for example, like Eraserheads and Sugar Free, which are like 90s bands.
Yes.
Amazing for me.
We're familiar with their music. They're actually we started diving into like the alternative rock OPM scene a little while back, and I have to be honest, it's one of my favorite takes on the genre, like especially in Tagalog, like how like I find like the lyricism even translated still holds so much truth, still holds so much grounding, and I love that about it. So incredible influences. Nice.
Thank you.
Actually, wouldn't have thought. Well, I mean, you did say you're like a Taylor Swift fan, so I would presume your playlist is probably along the same lines, right? You're probably acoustic, singer-songwriter stuff. But I never would have thought you would have liked alternative rock.
That's nice.
I do. That's what I was mainly exposed to, which was really funny because like my genre is the exact opposite of that.
Yeah. It's like I was expecting, I don't know, maybe more like Muere de la Torre or like stuff like is more singer-songwriter along those lines. I love it though. Those influences really will really come to shine later on because obviously you're just beginning, so it's really exciting. What are some of the things that you're really looking forward to? What can we expect from SAB in the future?
Ooh,
that sounds like such a media question.
Ooh.
but yes, please.
So sorry.
No.
Things to definitely expect from me, at least in the next upcoming months and the year of 2023. Oh my God, that's a few months away.
My God, crazy. I just literally had a moment. Sorry.
I know. I'm sorry. I wanted to give you the crisis also, but. For me, definitely expect more music to come. Right now, I'm sort of in the process of exploring a different type of sound than what I just came off of. So I'm trying to transition from the indie pop era to something more alternative, maybe, or R&B. It's either of the two.
R&B.
So I'm excited to get into those genres. And then also, I'm also exploring like different types of art and also getting into things like behind the scenes. And working with like a lot of hopefully collaborations that will work out and writing for other artists.
Nice, wonderful.
I would love to. I would love. I think we both would love to hear you in sort of R&B kind of leading. I mean, maybe leaning more to that alternative side.
Yeah, now that you've spoken about,
it would be fun to sort of see that experimentation.
Definitely.
Thank you.
We wish you all the best of luck, and we can't wait to see you at the 1MX. It's gonna be super fun.
Yeah, you're actually, we're really looking forward to seeing you perform live. We have seen we have come across a lot of your videos, and also some of our like viewers. They're like, dude, you have to listen to SAB, or you have to listen to.
Oh my, thank you so much.
Yeah. So it's again a huge honor to have you on, and thank you so much for making the time.
Thank you so much for having me here. I enjoyed this talk very, very much. Actually, we could
what,
it's a
Sab?
shame.
We could make
It's
it
a shame.
longer. I
Oh,
don't.
yeah,
Usually
definitely.
we do podcasts for like 3 hours, yeah. But the
I
problem
don't
is,
mind.
and neither would I. But the problem is like, you know, schedules and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And plus, you're a famous lady, and you have things
No,
to
no,
do.
no,
and
no, no.
everything, you know.
But honestly, when we get to meet each other, we'll definitely chat for a lot longer. That's for sure.
100%. Yes, please make time for
We
a
will
lovely
do.
chat when we're in London, please.
Okay,
Yes,
lovely.
definitely.
Thank you so much, everybody. Lovely SAB.
All right.
Nice. Thank you so much.